Hello, I'm joined today by my guests Ricky and Kieran from Reeds Financial. How are you doing, guys?
Well, thank you. You, David?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I know you guys have been busy recently with everything that's been going on over the past few weeks, financially, mortgages, finance, getting locked in, getting the right deal, getting a deal at all. We're all in your hands, guys. It's a very exciting time. And talking about time, we're just at the end of October, so we're coming up to that Halloween season. And the title of this is "Not All Mortgage Brokers Are Vampires." So first of all, I welcome to you both. I think it's fascinating how you got into this. Tell us where Reach Financial comes from.
So we launched Reeds back in 2020, at the height of the pandemic, really. I was sort of in the industry for a few years prior to that. Was in the middle of trying to buy another brokerage. We just couldn't agree a price with everything that was going on. They wanted more, I wanted to pay less, and it just worked out cheaper to set it up on my own. And here we are 2 years later with a growing team of six.
Fantastic, and there is an interesting story behind the name. See, we have weird and wonderful names here at Kerfuffle Suppliers. We almost think that they put them into a prop tech name generator that randomly comes up with a funky name, but there's real meaning behind your name. So where did it come from?
Yeah, so Reeds, so the core value, we're family based, family oriented. And Reeds is actually the first initials from mine, my wife, and three children's names. So Ricky, Emma, Evie, Daisy, and Sophie actually create Reeds, and it was in fact my middle daughter that created that.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, we're going to talk about family a little bit later because that's all part of your ethos. But in terms of what your solution does and on what your services offer to agents, there are plenty of mortgage brokers out there, and it's always been an element of our business as estate agents that we need you guys to to facilitate the transactions that we're putting through. We'd like to be able to recommend people to someone that we can trust, someone that effectively fits in line with our business as well, because again, anybody that we recommend reflects on us as well. But I understand your perspective was that you felt that that relationship between agent and mortgage broker sometimes wasn't. There are in effect two clients, aren't there? And at some point you start acting for the buyer, but the agent sort of gets left behind at some point. And you wanted to try and change that. So can you try and take us through that?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we're introduced majority of our leads through estate agents and introducers. Ultimately, they are the client that's actually given us the client that we service. So we do have to look at both sides of that coin, though we need to make sure that the end client, the borrower, is able to obtain the right finances and the right product to allow that purchase to be facilitated. We also need to look after the estate agent. And what I've found from my time in the industry is a lot of estate agents don't get updated, and then they get frustrated because they're emailing the broker, they're ringing the broker. And that's something that we found with Kieran. So Kieran hasn't elaborated on this yet, but as he's a broker, but he's also an estate agent in his own right with his own company. So I'll let Kieran explain a little bit more about that side and how he's found us, perhaps.
Yeah. So we started working with sort of previous Reeds actually. So we've built a relationship probably over the last 5-6 years. And Ricky's sort of always gone above and beyond sort of any other brokers that we've sort of spoken to before. And we've always had sort of communication updates, catch ups, even just just catching up, just to see how you are. No sort of business chat, just a genuine check-in, just to see how you are really, which is quite a nice feeling that someone is out there, even if you just want to pick up the phone and just have a chat to who sort of be that person. And then sort of ethoses have sort of transferred over to Reeds and to us as brokers in this team.
I suppose at this moment in time where things are changing, it's a more challenging environment for both agents and also anybody that's applying for finance. The banks are still finding their way as well in terms of what they're offering. It's nice to be able to pick up the phone to somebody who is perhaps fighting the same battle as you, but on the different side of the industry, and just say, okay, what are you hearing, Ricky? When are they bringing back those deals that they pulled? Are the rates being altered? And because as agents, we need to communicate with our public, and you need to know what to be able to say, and not to panic anybody, but to really sort of give them information that's going to enable them to make some major life decisions potentially. They're just going to nod. They're just going to sit here and nod. That's what they're going to do. It's going to be awkward. That's the bit where you go, yes, David. No. Okay.
I would just agree with you. Yeah. You just summarised everything, and I was just agreeing.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, in terms of that family relationship, though, and that family ethos that you guys have, there are some nice touches that you throw in. You see each client becoming an extension of your sort of Reeds family, and you take care of them in that way as well. So just touch on that for people that don't know what it is that you do.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of clients that we have, I mean, I've been in the industry for a few years now, so I've seen some clients, go from seeing their relationships blossom into marriages and have children, they're an extension of our life. And we want to be there to service them throughout their life and throughout their time that they are homeowners and holders. So what we'll do is we'll have contact throughout the year. We'll send birthday cards, we'll send a Christmas card, might send a text here or there, just to check in. It doesn't necessarily mean we're looking for more work. It's more of a case of we just want them to know that we are here, like should anything be required. And you just never know. You might not speak to your mortgage broker for a while, but if your mortgage broker just messages you out of the blue, you might just remember something that someone said to you, oh, maybe you need to look at life insurance or check your mortgage or rates are going up. And it's just a prompt.
I think it's such great practice, and one that agents also need to sort of do as well, because most businesses don't have that keep in touch policy. So you may transact with somebody now and they may not need you for another 3 or 4 years, but when they come to need you again, you're not necessarily front of mind if you're not in touch with them on a regular basis. So I can see how that works, and I think it's a really good approach. When we're looking at the sort of products that you're able to offer on the money market, as it were, you're whole of market, aren't you?
We are. So whole of market, obviously most agents know what whole of market is, but I'll explain it in case anyone doesn't know.
Please.
Whole of market is obviously we have access to nearly all the lenders in the marketplace. Whole of market is a term that's loosely banded. It is a bit of a bugbear of mine. As long as you have access to 75 lenders, you are whole of market. We have access to double.
Wow.
So yeah, there's only a handful of lenders we don't work with, but we work with their subsidiary partners. For example, we don't work with Yorkshire Builder Society, but we work with Accord, which is a subsidiary of them. So what that allows us to do is really find the best solution for any clients that we have, any financial circumstance they may have. We are able to put them in the right product, connect them with the right product, shall we say.
And as I understand it, even if they're a current client of XYZ bank, very often you'll have access to deals or to products that their banks might not necessarily be offering them directly as even as a current customer. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we have access to exclusives. We're part of a mortgage club with Legal and General. And in fact, I've recently done a product transfer where our rate was only a few basis points lower than what they were getting direct with the bank. So not a massive saving. I think it was about 20, 30 pounds, but over a 5-year term, it accumulates into a nice little sum.
It all adds up. We're finding that out now in terms of everybody's doing that mortgage calculation, and it's all over the headlines. It's in every press article at the moment. So people certainly are worried about it. In terms of who would use this service and what kind of agent you would seek to work with, as I understand it, you're quite flexible. So you're big enough to cope with volume, but you are also quite happy dealing with sort of single branch agents if you need to as well. Do you find that the work is different, sort of depending on the size of the agent, or is it basically just more support that they need?
Yeah, I mean, it varies. You'll find, I mean, when we started working together, it was just a bit of an extension. You were giving just a bit of support with helping clients with financing. But it varies. A lot of the multi-branches are generally machines, so I'll just churn out leads. But I mean, our preferred estate agents are generally the personal ones, like the new ones that set up under a Keller Williams brand or a U-Boot brand.
Yeah.
Because they've had the balls, shall we say, to go out on their own, and especially in a climate where we're in now, we want to give them the extra support. So, as we said earlier, we do call in and we do check in. And, it's important. I've been in business, for 20 years in various guises. I have a wealth of experience. I know I look young, but I do have a wealth of experience, and it's nice to share that. And sometimes I learn things, and it's good to sometimes have those conversations that aren't connected to a property sale or connected to a mortgage. It's, I think our relationship started as broker and agent, and now I think we're become very good friends, and so much so that I actually encouraged him to become a broker and join our agency because I wanted to help him grow and help him be. He's already a great estate agent, but I wanted him to be a bigger, more rounded. How to be a bigger, more rounded agent.
So, in terms of if I were to ask you, are there any other sort of similar brokerages out there on the market available to agents at the moment? Are you all simply just the same, or do you have a view of how these mortgage brokerages should be working?
All brokers should be the same. And obviously, we've got a few agents that are on this platform, and you guys vet them, and they're all good brokerages. I've got nothing bad to say about the other brokers. They're all well-respected brokers in our industry. But what you find is, sorry, cut there for a second. I just remembered something else, and that's just to President.
No worries.
In my brain, sorry.
You were talking about how every brokerage is the same.
I think what makes us stand out is that we want to build friendships and relationships with our clients. The keep in touch strategy that we have is sort of one part of it, but it's also just like sort of just checking with or being available at any time of the day within reason that people can sort of just contact you. I've had a lot of messages sort of that, what should we say, out of office hours from clients, especially lately, just to say, is my mortgage offer still active? Has anything changed? And we're just here just to, I think I was chatting to one of my clients probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the evening, just through WhatsApp, just to reassure them that your mortgage offer is still in place. I've not heard anything. There's a few murmurs in the media that some lenders are putting mortgage offers post offer. But yeah, we're here just at any time to just to chat with our clients and have a friendly conversation and be the point of contact that they need.
I think people love that personal service that you're able to offer. And although we live in this sort of age of technology and everything sort of seamlessly flowing, one of the things that you guys are a little bit old school with is that personal customer care. And my notes say that you try to limit wherever possible on the customer side of the journey what you call robo advice. Just explain where robo advice can sometimes be helpful, but then really unhelpful in that customer journey.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, robo advice is good and it works for some people, but if you're just accessing a machine and you're doing things yourself, there could be instances where it's not done right, and you could cause yourself to could put yourself into financial detriment. So what we like to do, we like to bring the clients, talk to them, and understand them. That, you know, the greatest thing that we have as humans is these things. Like, listen, it's so powerful, and it's in all my years in business, I've learned listening and understanding what people are telling you is very important. So understanding what the client wants and taking a holistic view, learning what the short-term goals are, what are their long-term goals, understanding what's going to be the right mortgage for them. You know, there's been instances where we've helped clients buy bigger homes, so we've helped the estate agent upsell from perhaps a flat to a house because, you know, they're looking to have children in the near future. It's just a bigger mortgage. So yeah. Well, I was new to the industry, so I was just thinking, we looked at it, we run the figures, and I mean, Tom, we're in a fantastic house now compared to the flat you was in. And they've got a growing family, so I had the foresight of it. We probably missed it really.
I suppose anybody that signed up to a decent mortgage rate a couple of years ago, locked in, they're laughing now anyway. I mean, in terms of sometimes the idea is to push to your boundaries, but talking about that, one of the things that you put in your notes, and I particularly like this because you've obviously got strong values within your company in terms of what you want to provide in terms of customer service and the level of service that you provide. But you've put here that life isn't all about being rich. You have some other little flourishes that you add in to sort of give back when you've completed some business. So, and I think it's a beautiful way of making the world go round in a nicer way. Tell us a little bit about that, Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that was instilled by my parents. You've got to be around it. It's nice to have the big house, the cars, the holidays, but it's not about showing off. Life isn't about money. You know, you've got to find happiness in things other than money. What we like to do as a company, and it's a discussion that we had. So what we do, we actually work with a local hospice. So we're based in North Kent. I work with the Eleanor Hospice in Gravesend. I have a close affiliation with them. And I feel it's important for me to be able to support them. I mean, they're a hospice that do phenomenal work. They've supported me and my family in the past, and I will do as much as I can to help them hit their fundraising quotas, from sponsoring events to even our commercial agreement where we actually revenue share with them. So yeah, I mean, we give 5% of all revenues that we make to that charity.
Wow.
It might not seem like a lot, but it does accumulate.
Yeah, I know it does, and charities need it, especially vital charities like that, they do such important work, and they add so much value to the dignity of people's lives at the most difficult time, I think. And they support families where, you know, they don't feel in control of life because it's beyond their control, but you need somebody to step in and give you that support. And I think it's superb. So hats off to you guys for that. In terms of agents and how they can get in touch with you and build that relationship with you, all your details are obviously on kerfuffle.com. The great thing about this is that you're offering this service. This is a free service to agents, not just free, it can actually benefit them. Explain how that might work.
Yeah, well, Kim says I'm a little bit crazy. So obviously going back to that, life's not all about money. I just seem to be giving money left, right, centre. So what we do, obviously, we're here to build relationships. So any agents that want to partner with us, will send back a referral fee. I think it's nice if you, as an agent, as a branch, want to support us as Reeds, as a company, the things that we do. I want to show value back. And really, with estate agents, it's a lot harder for me to support estate agents in terms of sales. Because if you're based in Glasgow and we're in the southeast of England, I can't refer anything to you.
Yeah.
So my thank you and our thank you as a company will be a percentage.
And you do work with agents up and down the country, don't you? In terms of, I mean, I understand that your word of mouth referrals are really what you don't advertise anywhere. It's all agents sort of recommending your services, and that word is spreading. Working with Kerfuffle is probably the closest you've got to doing that marketing now, but you've not had to do that because your reputation speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to that personal approach, like having that phone call, understanding about where they want to be, where they're going. It's very important, and I think from where we've had those conversations, and you probably see it on the estate agent side, where we'll talk, or if I see something that might help him in his agency, I'll share that. I think it's important where you're helping my business grow. I'm kind of obliged to help you as well. We're people, and we're all here for each other.
It's what life is all about. So if you're looking for somebody that can help you get your business done and get your mortgages flowing, and it helps everything that we do in terms of the pipelines. It can help support buy-to-let investors, landlords. There's so many different areas where without mortgages, we just simply grind to a halt as estate agents. But if you care about who you deal with and you want somebody that has a unique approach to customer service, but also really sort of nice ethos behind their business, I think you could do a lot worse than speak to Ricky and Kieran, that's for sure. Guys, I'd like to thank you for your time. Thank you very much.